Hi guys, my name is Sarah Button. I'm a UA alumna and a current non-degree seeking graduate student. I'm also a teacher at a middle school, so I guess I can sort of see this from both sides. But I just wanted to make a couple of points. I'm against the Bill 1011. I do not support faculty being able to carry concealed weapons on campus, and I have a few main points. And I definitely respect the Constitution, and I do believe that there are, people who are very qualified and know how to use a weapon. I think that that's totally true. But as somebody who's been a student and teaches students, I don't feel that it increases the safety of a campus because of all of the what-ifs that can happen. Even if somebody is trained really well with their weapon, in a situation like this where we have shooters who are coming onto campus, and usually that's what we're responding to, is these Columbine-type situations where somebody is already suicidal. They want to just kill as many people as possible before shooting themselves or getting shot by whoever, the law enforcement or whatever. That to them, the concealed carry won't be a deterrent. They're still going to come on campus and shoot as many people as possible, but having more concealed weapons isn't necessarily going to help the situation. First of all, because when law enforcement does arrive, they won't know who they need to help. Second of all, those people who do have their concealed weapons and are trying to help, what if they don't see who is the shooter and 5 of them spring out and they still don't know who to shoot? Okay, thanks. So anyway, just basically I don't feel like it increases safety necessarily. But the other big point that I have about the actual concealed carry aspect is that currently 90% of people who have mental health issues are not reported to our, it's called the National, sorry, I don't remember the name of it. The National Instant Criminal Background Check System, which is where if you're buying your gun not from a private dealer, but from like a gun owner, or a business, they have access to this system, and that's where they check for their backgrounds. And 90% of people who have mental health issues are not reported. Also, 25% of people who have committed felonies also are not reported, and so that system needs to be corrected before any of these really need to be addressed. Okay, thank you. That's pretty much it. Also, like the student who on our own campus kills professors in the College of Nursing had a concealed carry permit, and that person clearly was not mentally stable. And I'm not saying that every person who has a concealed carry permit is mentally unstable. Obviously, that's not true. But I feel like there are a lot of holes in the system that do not make the campus safer if those people have weapons. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Josh Conver.
I'm going to try and keep my eyes on the whole room, not for any reason. I am Josh Conver. I'm a grad student here at the UA. My undergrad degree was in political science. I love these kinds of constitutional questions. Thank you for holding a forum. I think this is really what makes our country the best in the world. I'd like to present a correct interpretation of the Second Amendment, if I may. You have to take this amendment and place it in its context, both within the Constitution as a document and within history. So when you take the Second Amendment, we all know what that says. Then you look at the Third Amendment, which refers to the quartering of soldiers. Then you look at the Fourth Amendment, which refers to search and seizures, the right for people to be secure in their property. And there is quite a distinct line of logic between these things. It should be mentioned that, our founding fathers meant for our militia to be our army. We were not meant to have a standing army. It was actually thought that this was going to endanger the republic. But our founding fathers recognized the threats from European invasion, and militia is meant to be the first response until a standing army can be raised. That's historically accurate, and exactly what Jefferson said in his first inaugural address. And Thomas Jefferson, of course, is arguably the most brilliant of all of the founding fathers. the volumes on government and democracy that he wrote are extensive and genius. I would also like to share that the Founding Fathers feared the standing army was a danger to the liberties and freedoms, and that they believed the military might exert their control over the citizenry, rather than the citizens telling the military what to do. There are also, moving on to the next point, there are also a history of restrictions and exemptions on constitutional rights and amendments and powers enumerated in the Constitution. Speech, for example, Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes. The most stringent protection of free speech would not protect a man in falsely shouting fire in a theater and causing a panic. We all know that. We have the search and seizure, the exclusionary rule. You can violate, police can violate the Fourth Amendment and still have evidence admitted into court against you on the good faith exception. Also enumerated by, or also mentioned by the Supreme Court. The Second Amendment, there's no reason for it to be absolute. It would be exceptionally unique if this amendment was absolute. And the other amendments, speech, religion, search and seizure, most of those don't end up with somebody dying from a bullet. So protecting us in public, the people in public, is really what, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. But that's the point. Speech, religion, search and seizure exceptions do not kill people. Okay.
Next up we have Tim Pop.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. My name is Tim Pop. I am a firearms instructor. I have been for over 20 years. I teach for Arizona Game and Fish. I also taught for Wisconsin DNR. I'm also the owner of Double Tap Firearms, a safety and firearms instruction company. I teach CCW classes. There's a big fault with what most people believe about CCW. CCW gives you absolutely no rights other than carrying a weapon concealed that you don't already have. All right? The thing is, with CCW, every person out there carrying CCW and carrying their weapon concealed has passed a course. They've been educated, they took a test, they had to pass that test. All right? The people that are out there without the CCW don't know what they're doing, and that's the problem with it. That's why this bill states they must have a CCW. Education is the answer to everything. All right, I have a couple of statistics here. I know a couple of people have said some few things about statistics, but I know these to be a fact because they come from my training years from the police academy where I went to school. 85% of all adolescents, that's 12 years and under, that were injured by a firearm didn't know the firearm was loaded or didn't know the firearm was real. All right? Since the inception of the firearm safety, or hunter safety as it's called in the United States, and all 50 states have it now, the number of accidental shootings among adolescents has dropped by 75%. That's a big drop, folks. Yet, the statistic on how many that still get shot, don't know the firearm was loaded, or don't know the firearm was real, is still 85%. It's because of education. Once you educate the people, the accidents don't happen. All right? The people that are out there with the CCW are educated. They don't make those same mistakes. Now, somebody said that this gentleman who did the shooting here on campus had a CCW. There's been no record that he's had a CCW. It was mentioned, well, he had a CCW, but they never researched it. They never found that he had a CCW. I do know for a fact that since the inception of CCW in Arizona, no one with a CCW has ever been convicted of a serious firearm violation, a felony. Thank you very much, and I give the rest of my time.
Thank you, sir.